July 25th, Friday, Feast Day of St. James, Apostle Reflection by Reverend Father Clifford Atta Anim. The Gospel reading is from Matthew chapter 20, verses 20 to 28. Today, we celebrate the Feast of St. James the Greater, a life of ambition really transformed by grace. Today, the Church celebrates the Feast of St. James the Greater, one of the 12 apostles, and, among the first, called by Jesus. Known as the son of Zebedee and Salome, James was also the brother of St. John the Evangelist. Tradition holds that Salome may have been related to the Blessed Virgin Mary, making James a close relative of Jesus, as we see in the Gospels of Matthew and Mark. James held a unique place among the disciples. He belonged to Jesus' inner circle with Peter and John. These three witnessed some of the most intimate and defining moments of Jesus' earthly ministry: the Transfiguration on Mount Tabor, the raising of Jairus' daughter, and Jesus' agony in the Garden of Gethsemane. In all four Gospels, James is consistently listed among the first three apostles, indicating, his prominence in the early church. You can see this in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and the Acts of the Apostles. Jesus affectionately called James and his brother John Boanerges, meaning sons of thunder. This nickname likely reflected their fiery personalities and zealous temperaments. One vivid example is when they proposed calling down fire from heaven upon a Samaritan village that had rejected Jesus. Though Jesus rebuked them, it reveals their passionate, if misdirected, loyalty. James is called the Greater to distinguish him from James the Less, the son of Alphaeus, who became Bishop of Jerusalem and authored the Epistle of James. Tradition tells us that James the Greater was the first apostle to be martyred, put to death by Herod Agrippa I around 44 AD, to gain favor with the Jewish authorities, as we read in Acts chapter 12, verses 1 to 2. He thus sealed his witness with his blood, becoming a model of courageous discipleship. The Gospel reading, Ambition Meets the Cross. The Gospel for today, as found in Matthew chapter 20, verses 20 to 28, gives us a striking portrait of James and John's early ambition. They approached Jesus through their mother to request positions of honor at his right and left hand in the kingdom. Their timing was troubling. Jesus had just foretold his passion for the third time, speaking of betrayal, suffering, and death. But the brothers, still imagining a political Messiah, sought power and status. Jesus, with patient firmness, responded by asking, "Can you drink the cup that I am going to drink?" They answered, "We can." In a prophetic way, Jesus affirmed they would drink that cup, the cup of suffering and martyrdom. But the granting of places in his kingdom belongs to the Father. Jesus then taught a powerful lesson. In his kingdom, greatness is measured not by status or power, but by service. The Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many, as it says in Matthew chapter 20, verse 28. True leadership is servant-hearted. In the church, authority is not about dominance, but about service. Jesus redefined leadership through his own example. He washed feet, healed the broken, and gave his life. This is why the Pope is known as servant of the servants of God, and why the priesthood is called ministerial, not managerial. Our Blessed Mother, in her humility, called herself the handmaid of the Lord, as we read in Luke chapter 1, verse 38. Christian leaders must be willing to serve, not to be served. Christian life, really requires sacrificial love. St. James's transformation from a bold, ambitious fisherman to a martyr willing to suffer for Christ reminds us that discipleship calls for ongoing conversion. Our vocation as Christians is not to climb ladders of success, but to kneel in humble service to others. The love we are called to live is agape, self-giving, sacrificial, and unconditional love. Whether you're a layperson or priest, bishop, or catechist, we are called to mirror the love of Christ, who emptied himself, taking the form of a servant, as it says in Philippians chapter 2, verse 7. A pilgrim's intercessor, St. James is also the patron saint of Spain and of pilgrims, especially those who walk the famous Camino de Santiago. His shrine in Santiago de Compostela remains one of the most important pilgrimage destinations in the Christian world. Pilgrimage, well, it reflects the journey of life and faith, a path of transformation, conversion, and union with Christ. Like James, we too must move from ambition to surrender, from pride to humility, from thunder to peace. May we, like St. James, be willing to drink the cup of Christ, to serve others with generous hearts, and to follow Jesus wherever he leads. God bless you.